I don't need a husband with dementia who can't earn money anymore. You take care of him by yourself. Pamela, my mother-in-law, said this and moved into a high-rise apartment with my husband, Oliver. I'm tired of living with you, who can't even get along with my mother. Even Oliver, whom I thought was on my side, said this and left. I stood there, shocked by the sudden turn of events. Finally, those idiots are gone. The one who reached out to me with these words was surprisingly Harrison, my father-in-law, who was supposed to have dementia. I am Nina, 25 years old. Oliver and I are about to celebrate our second wedding anniversary. We both work and don't have children. Since we're both busy with our jobs, we decided not to have kids. Oliver and I work at the company run by Harrison. I joined the company as a mid-career hire a few years ago, and Oliver and I, being the only two in our cohort, quickly became friends. Unlike me, who is shy and reserved, Oliver is outgoing and sociable, always surrounded by people. I felt for Oliver without knowing he was the son of the president. Half a year after joining, when Oliver was transferred to another department, he confessed to me. I was planning to announce it to other employees when I transferred, but actually, I'm the only son of the president and the next president, so I have to study a lot to become president. I might be busier than before, and we may not have much time together, but is that okay? I was surprised by his words. Until then, he had never shown any signs of being the president's son. I had no idea, but I don't mind if you're busy. I love my job and want to do my best, so it's fine if we don't have much time together. I was headhunted by the president to work at his company because of my multiple qualifications. In my previous company, I couldn't make full use of my qualifications, but now I enjoy my job immensely. That's why I wanted to focus on my career for a while. Hearing this, Oliver's expression relaxed. Really? That's great. Then let's work well together. And so Oliver and I started dating. I was surprised to learn he was the president's son, but I was more thrilled to be dating him. After a year and a half of dating, Oliver and I got married. Even after marriage, both of us were career-focused and didn't have much time together. But when we did have time off, we would go out together. Those modest times with Oliver were my greatest happiness. Now both of us hold positions in the company and are doing well in our jobs. But then, an unexpected event happened. Harrison, the company's owner, suddenly fell ill. After surgery, he recovered enough to lead a normal life, but it was difficult for him to continue working. Since Oliver was still inexperienced, Harrison entrusted the presidency to his most trusted subordinate and retired from the company. That's when the discussion of living with my in-laws started. Pamela, my mother-in-law, proposed the idea. One day, Oliver and I were called to the in-laws' house by Pamela. Harrison was out on errands, and only Pamela, Oliver, and I were at the house. I'm getting old, and my bones ache. I can't take care of Harrison alone, Pamela said in a gentle tone, then turned to Oliver, begging. I'm busy with work, too. Even if we live together, I can't take care of Dad. But hiring a home health aide, it would be helpful if someone could help with the housework, Pamela said, looking at me. But I can't quit my job either, said Oliver, also looking at me. What is this? They want me to quit my job? As I remained silent, Pamela, losing patience, spoke up. That's it. Nina should retire and take care of Oliver. Pamela, who had been so meek, was now showing a completely different side. The project we're currently working on in our department relies heavily on my qualifications. At the very least, I can't quit until it's finished. However, Pamela and Oliver ruthlessly interrupted me. I can't wait for something like that. My body will break down in the meantime. We can just recruit someone else with the same qualifications. If we explain the situation to the current president, he'll understand. I was quite shocked by Oliver's words. He had seen up close how much I loved my job. Yet Oliver didn't defend me at all and sided with Pamela. I felt a bit uneasy about Oliver's attitude. It seemed too quick for him to accept me quitting my job to take care of Harrison. It was as if he knew about this beforehand. But at the same time, I thought there was some truth in Oliver's words. Unlike Oliver, who was the next president, I was just another employee with qualifications, easily replaceable. All right, but make sure to hire someone to replace me. Really? Thank you. Don't worry about the rest. I'll talk to the current president right away. Pamela and Oliver's faces lit up instantly. I reluctantly tolerated it, despite my dissatisfaction with them. That's how our cohabitation with my in-laws began. I quit my job, as they said, and took care of the house and Harrison every day. Harrison seemed to be quite considerate of me. I'm sorry, Nina. I can handle things myself. Don't worry. Saying every time he helped. The only thing I did for Harrison was carry heavy things for him, and it wasn't particularly hard. The hardest part was the household chores. Since we started living together, I have never seen Pamela doing any housework. She goes out almost every day and is hardly ever at home during the day. I was the wife of a president, after all. It's natural for me to have a wide social circle. Even now, for Oliver's sake, I maintain good relationships with my acquaintances. Pamela would say this and go out fashionably dressed every day. Pamela, who said she was in pain and had a hard time taking care of Oliver, could go out dressed up every day. My dissatisfaction with Pamela gradually grew. While Pamela was out, all the house chores were dumped on me. Moreover, when Pamela came home, she would complain about my chores when Harrison wasn't looking. Nina, you're cleaning this area all wrong. She would make me redo the chores from scratch, no matter the time. One day, after months of enduring, I finally snapped back at Pamela as she complained about my housework. If I'm doing it wrong, could you please show me how you do it? But Pamela responded, Can't you figure it out yourself? Do it on your own. And she went back to her room. Feeling hopeless, I decided to talk to Oliver. You know, Pamela seems to be unhappy with my cooking and cleaning. She won't tell me how to do it her way. Can you ask her about it? Oliver sighed heavily. I'm tired with work. I can't deal with Mom and you. Handle your relationship with mother-in-law yourself. Lately, Oliver had been coming home less and less, supposedly busy with work. I was shocked to be pushed away by Oliver, whom I thought was my ally. Since then, Oliver became increasingly irritable at home, and our conversations dwindled. Recently, Oliver often comes home drunk in the middle of the night. I've been pretending not to notice the smell of women's perfume soaked into his suit. I was beginning to feel overwhelmed, carrying so much stress alone. Harrison's memory was getting worse by the day. Watching him, Pamela complained disdainfully. That man has finally become demented. Harrison's forgetfulness worsened, and recently he couldn't even recognize Pamela or Oliver. I had a son. His name was... Harrison would tell me the same story every day. I felt sad that Harrison, who was so loving towards his son, had forgotten Oliver. Even as Harrison's condition deteriorated, Oliver kept saying he was too busy with work to care for his family. Pamela, as usual, was often out and seemed uninterested in Harrison. Both Pamela and Oliver, who had been so kind to Harrison when he was lucid, changed their attitudes drastically as his memory worsened. I thought I had to take care of Harrison properly. so I listened to his stories attentively every day. Then one day, something happened. As usual, I was cooking dinner, waiting for Pamela and Oliver to return. Then the front door opened. I heard Pamela and Oliver's voices. Oliver is back too? That's unusually early for today. As I went to the entrance, I was stunned by the sight. Pamela and Oliver, standing at the door, were both holding large suitcases. Nina, Oliver and I have decided to move. Oliver bought a high-rise apartment in an upscale neighborhood. We'll be living there from today, Pamela said proudly, looking at me, dumbfounded. A high-rise apartment? I haven't heard anything about this. Are Harrison and I moving later? Pamela laughed mockingly at my panic. Oh, Nina, you and Harrison will live separately. A husband with dementia who can't earn money is no longer needed. You take care of him, Nina. I was dumbfounded by her laughing statement. How can you say such things about a husband you've been with for years? Shut up. I only married him because he was a wealthy president. I was kind only because he was making money, but that ends today. I felt a real anger towards Pamela. It seemed useless to argue with her. Without responding to Pamela, I turned to Oliver. Oliver, are you serious? Abandoning Harrison like this? Do you think it's acceptable? When I appealed to Oliver, he replied with a look of exasperation. If Mom thinks it's good, then it's fine, right? I don't care what happens to Dad. I've already been set on the path to becoming the next president. Besides, I've grown tired of you two. I'm tired from work, and all I hear from you is complaints about Mom. I'm sick of it. I couldn't believe Oliver's words. I did talk to you about Pamela, but I never complained. And I only consulted you once. I haven't done anything to make you fed up. Oliver looked at me coldly as I became emotional. Anyway, I'm tired. I'll be living with Mom for a while, so don't contact me persistently. Oliver had been irritable lately, but he had never expressed dissatisfaction with me. I was deeply confused by his sudden announcement of separation. You can keep all the furniture and appliances in this house since we're getting new ones. Well then, Nina, take care. With that, Pamela cheerfully left the house with Oliver. I stood there, unable to comprehend, when suddenly the living room door opened and Harrison peered out worriedly. What's wrong? Where did everyone go? As I struggled to find words, Harrison suddenly spoke clearly. Those idiots finally left, huh? I looked up in surprise at his words. Harrison, what did you just say? Seeing my shock, Harrison smiled mischievously. I'm sorry, Nina. All that forgetfulness was just an act. I was lying to expose their true natures. Harrison's forgetfulness was all a lie? I was so shocked, I was speechless. Nina, calm down and listen. Both Mom and Oliver are having affairs with people from the company. I had suspected Mom for a while, but when I hired a detective, I found out about Oliver's affair too. They were always making excuses not to be at home, saying it's about social connections or work. But it was all lies. Oliver and Pamela were both having affairs? So the times Pamela went out, she was meeting her lover? I covered my mouth in shock. Nina, did you notice Oliver's affair? Harrison seemed surprised by my reaction. Yes, well, Oliver's suit smelled of women's perfume every day, so I kind of knew he was cheating. Recently, Oliver had been spending less time at home and often seemed irritable. Plus, he had just left the house for some unclear reason. It was all to cheat without me or Harrison noticing. It made sense. Also, Oliver has been embezzling money from the company, using his position as the next president. He's been spending a lot on his lover. The high-rise apartment and the interiors they were talking about earlier, they're probably using that money. Harrison's words were calm, but filled with a definite anger. Embezzling company funds? Oliver? With so many revelations at once, my head was spinning. I didn't know whether to be angry or sad. Seeing my expression, Harrison said apologetically, "It's understandable to be confused after hearing all of this suddenly. I'm truly sorry for my foolish son. We'll probably get a divorce, Nina. You can do as you like with Oliver." I denied Harrison's apology. "Don't apologize, Harrison. You did nothing wrong. And now that I've heard all this, I can't continue my marriage with Oliver. I can't forgive him for easily betraying a son-loving father like you." Hearing my words, Harrison thought for a moment, then slowly said, "If you're okay with it, Nina, there's something I want your help with. Shall we punish these two together?" I nodded firmly at Harrison's proposal. "Please let me help. We need to teach those two a lesson." Then, on the weekend, Harrison and I visited the high-rise apartment where Pamela and Oliver were living. I had called them saying, "I need to deliver something forgotten at the in-laws. I'm not sure what's needed, so I'd like Oliver to be at home too." I told them I was coming alone. I rang their video doorbell. Harrison waited out of sight of the camera. "Oh, Nina, long time no see. How's living with Harrison? We're having a comfortable life in this high-rise." Pamela sneered at me through the video doorbell. "Just open the door, please." Annoyed, Pamela snorted and abruptly turned off the video doorbell. Seconds later, the front door opened and Pamela appeared. "You've become quite defiant, haven't you? That's why Oliver got tired of you." "Long time no see. How's living with Oliver?" Pamela widened her eyes in shock at the voice. "Harrison, why are you here?" Pamela's surprise was understandable. Instead of me, Harrison was standing in front of her. "You're living in a nice place. Must be hard with just Oliver's salary. I wonder where all this money comes from." Pamela looked incredulous and shocked. "How? You were severely forgetful." Harrison glared at her as she spoke in a trembling voice. "By the way, a husband with dementia who can't earn money is useless, right? I don't want to see your face either. But forgive me. Today it all ends." Harrison spoke sarcastically, and Pamela's face grew paler. "Was it all a lie? That you were severely forgetful? What are you trying to achieve with such a cowardly trick?" "Oh, come on, you're saying that? Weren't you the one who lied first? How dare you deceive me and Nina?" Harrison's words were calm, but they carried a chilling undertone. "Hey, Mom, what's going on?" Hearing the commotion at the entrance, Oliver came out of the living room looking annoyed. However, upon seeing Harrison, Oliver's complexion changed drastically. "Dad, why are you here?" Then Harrison's expression turned terrifyingly grim as he looked at Oliver. "You idiot son, why did you betray Nina?" Harrison, who was usually calm, yelled at Oliver with an emotional intensity that was hard to believe. I was astounded by the forcefulness of the usually gentle Harrison. "Nina cared for me every day, even when you two lost interest in me. Such a good person. How could you betray her?" "Wait, what betrayal are you talking about? Is there some misunderstanding?" Oliver, in a panic, was met with a thick envelope thrown at him by Harrison. Photos of Oliver entering a hotel with an unknown woman and walking arm in arm spilled out from the envelope. "Don't think you can fool me. I've been preparing this for a long time. There's plenty of evidence." As Harrison spoke, Pamela suddenly screamed, "These? They're photos of me too!" Among the many photos, there were also numerous ones capturing Pamela's infidelity. "I've known for a long time. You two making it easier to cheat by making Nina care for me, right? It's over between us, and of course I'll be seeking compensation. As Harrison said this, Pamela's face twisted in frustration. Well, that's fine. Oliver is the next president now. We're not short of money. I'll pay the compensation. Pamela snorted confidently, still seeming composed. Ah, about that. Oliver, you're fired as of this month. Harrison cut Pamela off with a clear statement. What? I'm fired? Why? Oliver's voice trembled. You, using your position as the next president, did whatever you pleased, right? I already know about the embezzlement. You've been keeping the staff quiet for quite a while. Oliver began to tremble slightly at Harrison's words. That's not true. There's a reason for it. I don't want to hear excuses. I know all about the branded goods you've been buying for your mistress. As Harrison spoke ruthlessly, Oliver choked on his words. I've pretended to have dementia to uncover this. You were thorough in covering your tracks, so I made you think I had dementia to catch you off guard. And you immediately moved to this high-rise apartment. You're too careless. How did you find out? I silenced all the employees who knew about the embezzlement. Oliver blurted out in a panic. The current president was my most trusted subordinate. He's really competent and noticed your misconduct quickly. He was just struggling to find legal evidence. That's why I acted like I had dementia. Hearing Harrison's story, Oliver collapsed to his knees. Legally prosecuted? That can't be. I'm the next president. Oliver was flustered, and Pamela's face turned pale beside him. What? If Oliver is fired, how will he live? And if he gets a criminal record? Harrison looked at them with cold eyes. Oliver, what you did is a serious crime. You'll have to pay for it. Also, the position of next president isn't something you earned yourself. I knew you weren't capable. That's why I didn't make you president immediately. But instead of growing, you misused your position and broke the rules. It's a pity. Harrison's tone sounded somewhat sad. Oliver's eyes filled with tears at his words. Damn. Nina, you won't leave me, right? Oliver looked up at me with pleading eyes, but seeing him like that, I felt nothing for him anymore. Sorry, but we're getting a divorce. I can't stay married to someone who commits infidelity and crimes. Besides, you betrayed me and Harrison first. Goodbye. No, not Nina, too. Oliver cried out in anguish, his face wet with tears. Beside him, Pamela stood in a daze, shell-shocked. From now on, communicate through a lawyer. Let's go, Nina. Harrison said this to the two of them and then left the scene with me. Afterward, my in-laws quickly got divorced. My divorce from Oliver was finalized soon after their divorce. Pamela and Oliver, who committed adultery, were demanded to pay a lump sum as compensation. However, the two of them had squandered their savings and ended up having to borrow money to pay the compensation. Moreover, Harrison, adding insult to injury, sued Oliver for embezzling company funds. As a result, Oliver was fired from the company and faced a heavy compensation claim. Additionally, the rumor about Oliver spread to other companies in the same industry, making it difficult for him to find new employment. Now the two of them are struggling to make ends meet, desperately working day and night at part-time jobs. On the other hand, I was invited by Harrison to return to the company. You're an excellent employee, Nina. Our company needs you, he said, and the current president welcomed me back. Accepting the invitation, I returned to work with renewed vigor. Perhaps due to my return to a job I love, I've been told I look happier and more radiant. From now on, I plan to live freely for myself.